The stench of war is often metallic, a mix of blood and gunpowder. Yet, beneath this visceral horror lies another, more insidious odor, the stench of profit. As bombs fall and lives shatter, a select few reap immense wealth from the tools of destruction. This begs a crucial question: should profiting from war, from the very instruments of death, be considered a war crime itself? We recoil in horror at the atrocities committed on battlefields, but what of those who supply the weapons? Are they not complicit, their hands stained with the blood money earned from perpetuating violence? This isn't just about individual profiteers. Entire economies are built on the manufacturing and sale of weapons. This machinery of war feeds on conflict, on fear, and instability. It thrives when diplomacy fails, when dialogue is replaced by the deafening roar of cannons. And so, we must ask ourselves, are we truly striving for peace? Or are we, consciously or unconsciously, perpetuating a system that benefits from war? This is not merely an academic debate, it is a question that strikes at the very heart of our humanity. The true cost of war cannot be measured in dollars alone. It is etched in the faces of grieving mothers, in the hollow eyes of child soldiers, in the shattered remnants of once vibrant cities. Yet, to grasp the sheer scale of this global catastrophe, we must confront the cold, hard figures. Billions upon billions of dollars are poured into the military-industrial complex annually. This money, ostensibly meant to protect us, instead fuels an insatiable appetite for more powerful, more destructive weaponry. Imagine, for a moment, what could be achieved if even a fraction of these funds were redirected. Hospitals could be built, schools funded, and clean water provided to those in desperate need. The advancements in medicine, in renewable energy, in education, all stunted by the siphoning of resources towards the abyss of war, could flourish. Instead, we find ourselves trapped in a vicious cycle where fear begets spending and spending begets more fear. How many lives have been lost, not on the battlefield, but to the preventable diseases and poverty that fester in the shadow of military budgets? Imagine a world where the ingenuity and resources currently dedicated to creating ever more sophisticated weapons were instead channeled towards solving our most pressing global challenges. Imagine laboratories working tirelessly, not on bombs and bullets, but on cures for diseases, on sustainable energy solutions, on eradicating hunger and poverty. Picture factories, not churning out tanks and fighter jets, but producing affordable housing, life-saving medical equipment, and tools to empower farmers in developing nations. Envision the brightest minds of our generation, not strategizing military campaigns, but collaborating to combat climate change, promote literacy, and foster global consciousness. This is not a utopian fantasy, but a tangible possibility. It requires a fundamental shift in our priorities, a recognition that true security lies not in military might, but in the well-being of all people. It demands we break free from the shackles of fear and greed that bind us to the war machine. The resources exist, the technology is within reach. What we lack is the collective will to choose compassion over conflict, collaboration over competition, and life over death. Creating seeds of peace. Could prosperity disarm the world? Conflict often finds fertile ground in poverty, inequality, and despair. Could the path to peace lie through shared prosperity? Investing in uplifting the world's most vulnerable populations, creating a global system with access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunity, would the incentives for conflict diminish? When people have a stake in a peaceful and prosperous future, the allure of violence wanes. Our shared responsibility. Confronting the cycle of violence, we stand at a crossroads. One path leads down a familiar road, paved with broken promises and fueled by greed. The other path offers a glimmer of hope. It is a path of compassion and shared prosperity. We have the power to choose a different path and demand accountability. Our collective future depends on the choices we make today. You might now ask, where do we start? Let's talk about something incredibly powerful, yet profoundly simple: compassion. How can we bring peace into our lives, our homes, and eventually our communities? It starts with creating a safe space right where you are. Imagine your home as a sanctuary of peace, a place of love. Start by being compassionate to yourself and those you live with. Practice listening without judgment, speak with kindness, and show empathy even during disagreements. This creates an environment where everyone feels valued and heard. But why stop there? When we embody compassion, it radiates beyond our four walls. Think about the ripple effect. When you treat your neighbors, friends, and even strangers with kindness and compassion, it encourages them to do the same. Learn to see beyond the projections of yourself, your projected self. That allows you to see through and beyond the projections of others. That allows us to transcend the drama and limitations people are struggling through, and allows for greater clarity in what we are bringing to ourselves and others. It opens the space for freedom and learning from the past and bringing that new vantage into the future we are co-manifesting together. Your actions can inspire others to act with compassion, creating a domino effect of peace. Communication is key here. Effective, compassionate communication means expressing ourselves clearly and respectfully without resorting to rudeness or abuse. Seeing when others are needing to be seen and heard, and holding space for them when you are able to. It's also about learning to see when you need to have space for yourself and creating safe boundaries within your interactions with others. It's about acceptance as opposed to judgment, discernment for clarity and comprehension, for finding common ground rather than focusing on differences, then building from that. This kind of communication raises the level of consciousness in our homes and neighborhoods. It models abilities of communication for others who may be trying to find their voice in life. Imagine a world where everyone feels seen and heard, where conflicts are resolved with empathy and comprehension, where we give up the idea of winning over others when we can all win together. This isn't a far-fetched dream. It's achievable through the simple yet powerful act of compassion, to be the change you wish to see in the world. Here's a little practice for you. Next time you're in a conversation, truly listen. Drop your assumptions. Don't think about how you are going to respond after. Respond now by simply listening. Respond with empathy. Notice the change in the energy around you. You'll find that compassion isn't just a feeling, it's a transformative force. So let's start today. Create that safe space of peace and love in your home. Watch how it extends to your community. Together, we can raise the levels of consciousness around us, one compassionate act at a time. Thank you for taking part in this episode of Awaking Spirit. Let's make the world a more peaceful place, starting with ourselves. Be the love you wish to experience in the world.